Well, we're going to dip our toes into three-dimensional figures, and we start by identifying what is a polyhedron and what is not a polyhedron. Now, you may find yourself asking the question, what is a polyhedron? What in the world is a polyhedron? Well, I'm glad you asked. So a polyhedron is a three-dimensional solid object. It has flat polygonal faces, straight edges, sharp corners or vertices. So it's a three-dimensional solid. It's got flat polygonal faces. It has sharp corners or vertices with straight edges. Now, not all solid three-dimensional objects are polyhedrons, as we're getting ready to find out. So here it says, determine whether each solid is a polyhedron, and then identify the solid. If it is a polyhedron, name the bases, faces, edges, and vertices. So let's look at this one here in the bottom left of your screen. And is this, first question, is this a polyhedron? Well, I've got a circular top here on this object, which means it can't have straight edges and it doesn't have sharp corners. And so no, this is not a polyhedron. In fact, I think this is a cone. This is a cone, and a cone is not a polyhedron. Now let's look at the second object. Okay, well, it is a three-dimensional solid object. It has flat polygonal faces. In other words, I'm seeing two triangles and three quadrilaterals that make up this object. It has straight edges. It has sharp corners. And so, yes, this is a polyhedron. So, but what type of polyhedron is it? Well, it's what we would call a triangular prism. Two little triangles here on either end of this solid object is, in fact, and we do consider those to be the bases. So it's a triangular prism. So it gets its name from those two bases on either end of this object. So let's identify the bases. So we got to do bases, faces, edges, and vertices. Let's see, the bases. We got a triangle. We're going to say GHI. This is this area right here. And we got another triangle, and we're going to call it JKL. That's this right here. Okay, now, how about the faces? Well, the faces, what are the faces? These are the flat sides. Okay, those are the flat surfaces of this thing. And we got several of these. Well, one of these is the same thing as our base. We got triangle, two of them are GHI, along with triangle JKL. Those are two faces. And then we've got three other faces. So we've got some quadrilaterals. I'm going to drop it down here. This is still part of the faces. So I got a quadrilateral. Let's call it GHKJ. That's this back area back here. Let's move here to the front, and we can say that this is IHKL, quadrilateral IHKL. And then I've got the bottom part of this thing, And so we can say that it is GJLI, quadrilateral GJKL. All right, so that should be our faces. I'm going to run out of room. What about our edges? Well, the edges are going to be these straight line segments. So let's start here on the base, the face of the base. So I've got segment GH, and I've got segment HI, and I've got segment GI. Well, that takes care of the three right there. Do we want to move to the, well, let's just run along the back here. We got segment GJ. And we've got the very top of this segment HK. All right, let's move back to the back triangle, and from there we've got, well, let's do the front first because we've only got to name one of those. Segment IL. Follow along if you will. And then we're back to the back triangle, which is JK, segment JK, segment KL, and lastly, segment JL. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay. All right, then lastly, we got the vertices. Well, the vertices are the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 6 of those. Yeah, 6. Well, we got GHI, JKL, put commas between all of those, and then lastly, I. And there we go. We have named the bases, the faces, the edges, and the vertices of this polyhedron. And a polyhedron is a three-dimensional solid that has flat polygonal faces, straight edges, sharp corners, or vertices.